give them a minute, or you want to just jump on the screen and do your thing?
Good
Yeah, I
morning,
don't mind
John. I
waiting.
just want to say thank you for the book. I got it. Yay.
You did good. Yeah, we had two people complete those, and I saw that they were delivered via Amazon. So fantastic. Enjoy the read.
Yeah,
It is a
can't
pretty
wait.
quick read, and I think personally it helps because it gives you a kind of a broad knowledge of retirement, and it's a reference. You can go back and say, wait a minute, let me look at this Social Security. Let me look at this. Let me look at that. So yeah, thank you for completing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. And Wanda, did we reach out to Tony about yesterday about being in Dallas? Did you ever get a hold of him?
I have not been able to get a hold of him yet, but I'm sending out another email this morning, and I'll try to call him again.
Okay.
Oh, he's traveling. He's at the Humana conference this week. Do you have a cell phone? If you text him, he's pretty
I have
quick.
his cell phone. Do you have a cell phone, Wanda, or do you want me to reach out to him?
Yep. In fact, I can
Okay.
text him right now.
All right, because I would love to see him in Dallas. I think we had some good things there, and we can really grow that side of it. So perfect. And let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, if you'll just do the old, multiple share. Look at that. You did it faster than I could even say it.
I do a lot of these, so
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So I'm ready when you are, whenever you are, Michael. There's no hurry, but you just let me know when you want me to start.
let's do it. I think last week we were going to start off this week by doing Q&A, or you wanted to do your session first and then get to
No, let's do the
last
Q&A.
week?
Let's open that up because this is a quicker one. I know last week that's the longest one we have in the series. This is a much quicker one, so let's do some of the Q&A. That'd be great.
Sure. Well, guys, so last week was the 8 reasons why, correct? Last week was 8 reasons why everyone needs this, and there were a lot of questions, a lot of compelling feedback. We wanted to be respectful of everyone's schedule, so we thought we would address the bulk of those questions today. So if you have questions from last week, let's start the session today by addressing those, and then we'll get into today's session. So I'll pass the mic over to you all on this call. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Good morning.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, Pam.
Hey, I'd like to find out, is the LARC website up and running now? I had difficulty getting the website last week.
It is up and running. Michael, do you want me to share the direct URL in the comments, or do you have
Sure.
it linked somewhere off the website?
Yeah, either one. I know I tried to load it up as well, and it for some reason just loaded a blank white page. I didn't try again after that, which I certainly will right now. Yeah, it
Okay,
worked.
yeah. I have it up unless there is a firewall or something like that. So let me go to chat here and let's go to everyone and look at that. Michael, I can't beat you, man. I mean,
I'll believe mine.
I took silver there and I thought I was being quick. So
No
yeah,
worries.
click on that, Pam, and you can see it on my screen, right? Is my screen being shared?
Yeah. No, it's not.
Let me do that real quick here. Hold on. Oh.
It's floating for me.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, it's there because
Okay, good.
I wanted to try to get in on your free book, but I guess I'm probably too late to get that
You are
now,
not
but
too late. You're not too late because you're here. So yep, if you can get it loaded up now, you click on that. You just register now. You have a register, and that actually links you to any integrity education. Go through it. It's 88 minutes. I know a couple of people have completed it, and understand this is not. I'm not going to regurgitate Google searches. I'm not going to talk about market value adjustments. If I may for a second, when we get our license, whether it's life or health or even securities license to a certain extent, they teach you so much stuff about laws and about states and notifications. A lot of that stuff is handled by the carrier. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, you have to know, but it's handled by the carrier. This is a confidence course and a compliance course. I want you to stay so far away from doing things you shouldn't. And by doing that, you have confidence. So please take the course, send your certificate, your badge to Mike or Michael, and he'll send it to me with your address and you'll have it delivered to your doorstep.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions from last week?
Yes, I'm still trying to get a copy of the presentation.
The presentation, oh, the slide deck?
Yeah, the
Okay.
8 reasons.
I can send that to you right now. believe.
I
Put it-
emailed you as well regarding that.
I'm putting in the chat box my email address again.
I've got it.
Excellent. And
If you
with
email me, I
that,
got it.
a couple of things, y'all.
I'd like to have a copy too.
You know, unlike a lot of carriers who present products and stuff, but they didn't really sell, I sold. I mean, like I lived, I had to sell. So I understand what you all do. And that presentation is designed for you to put your own screen in, use that disclaimer and present it. What I suggest is go through, practice it once, click on the citations, especially the one that talks about potential legal protection. Click on your state, make sure it's there. If it's not, some states don't offer legal protection for life insurance, then just delete that slide. And then obviously there's stuff at the end where I talk about how we can help people build for the future. We can protect people to have home ownership over a generational period. You wouldn't want that stuff in front of a client. That's just more for you. So yeah, Michael will probably within 6 milliseconds be able to send you the presentation. Go through it, customize it how you like, put your logos on it. If you run under a different logo or, you know, if you run under global, whatever it is, it's designed to be used in front of clients.
That's great.
Terrific. I will take care of that. Any other questions or concerns from last week?
I'm looking through the comments, a lot of it about the deck, having that sent. Looks like we got
Cool.
those. Okay.
Excellent. That makes the.
No, it was an excellent, I thought it was an excellent deck.
Thank you.
Well done, Sean.
Thank you. Yeah.
I ordered the
And
brochure.
here's an important thing. Like we were running a lead campaign. Like there is, Michael, can I go into this just very quickly?
This is your show.
Okay, there is I think we need to fight the good fight. You know, like it's like kind of in the world, there's like good and bad, and you just gotta do as much good as you can, and you feel better about it. You don't get stressed selling it. Don't get too emotionally attached. If someone says, no, it's not for me, or I'm gonna move on to the next one. But what I like to see is I want to get as many people infused with the proper reasons, especially when we're working with older clientele, of why you would buy an IUL or a whole life policy. The social media is rampant with misrepresentations of what an IUL do. And I told you also on the presentation, there's people out there, tons of them, who are falling victim, and that sounds dramatic, but they're taking 401ks and cashing them out. Like I could do the math, I could do a whole presentation on why that is a terrible idea. Hell, if you want, Michael, if you have a traditional 401k or an IRA, and you want to make it tax-free, do a Roth conversion, and hell, do it with a Performance Pro, and you get a 15% recapture on the taxes. Like, don't be. There's so much TikTok video and so much, almost discrimination trying to prey on people who are financially ignorant, playing against the market. You know, the market's bad and all this stuff. And then they convert them to an IUL. You look at those 8 reasons. Yes, I mentioned tax accumulation, access to tax-free money, or deferred tax accumulation, access to tax-free money, and pass on benefits tax-free. The 8 benefits are strong enough that if an individual, whether they didn't have much money, have some money, or have a lot of money, 2 or 3 of those are going to be ripe in their mind, like, oh, that's good. And you're doing the right thing. And that feels good. That makes this job less stressful. And we don't need to go out and sell 67 of them in a month. Heck, you could sell 3, 4, 5 in a year. You're protecting them, you're helping them, you'll get some referrals, and you're really building your income. So enough of that. I'll get off my soapbox, but I do appreciate you all taking that seriously.
Hi, this is Chris.
Hi.
I ordered the brochures, by the way. They were
Oh,
very,
you did excellent. Yeah, if you have any issues with them not coming through, please let Michael or Wanda know, and I'll make sure you get them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information on there. It's like a lot of reading material for people, but it's good because it kind of makes them want to call you, I would imagine. But I have them up in a couple of places, so we'll see there. But I have a question. So I love the concept of the IUL, life insurance, but there are clients that are much older that have health issues, and I can't remember if we addressed this last week. So if we know we're not going to be able to qualify them for the IUL.
Yep.
What are we doing? The indexed annuity? Is that what we're going to?
Chris, excellent question. Let me first comment about the first part of what you said. If you're Stephen King, you make a lot of money selling books. My book has sold a lot, and it isn't a blip in my lifestyle, if that makes sense. But my point is this, Patrick Kelly was telling people, buy a case of my books, give it to people, they'll read it, and then it'll sell itself. That all sounds well and good. And this isn't an attack on a gentleman who I don't personally know. But when you give them that book, and I've said this before, it's only 150 pages. That's 150 pages they're not going to read. So now you've just created a roadblock. The quad fold, you could walk through it with them. And if you read it, you would know more than they do. Now, you're the smart person in the room, so to speak. And here's a little cheat. Here's a little way to just become an expert on those benefits so you feel confident with it. I put the website FIA benefits in the comments there. It matches up perfectly with the 7 benefits and with my book. It is myself and Tom Hegna, right? Tom is a world-renowned retirement expert, economist, author, right? And now just watch the little videos. They're like 1-2 minutes long. And so if you're not totally sure what this brochure is representing, watch the videos. Now you're armed and dangerous in a good way. Does that make sense? And then secondly, our last webinar, which is next week, I think, we're going to cover what life insurance do I write? You're going to be looking at like a Corebridge. Corebridge has a level whole life. They call it final expense. I never say it to clients. I call it level whole life, where their health prohibits them from really qualifying for an IUL. Let's take a Mutual of Omaha IUL Express, and we're going to have them on at some point. Wanda, tell me when that is, or if we've already scheduled it, or if they've already presented. But they're going to go down to about a table 2 or table 4. You get someone who's really not well off, taking blood thinners, things like that. Someone that is in that 7-month period where they're going to get a Medicare policy, a MedSup, but they're never going to be able to transfer. We've got Corebridge, for example, and Corebridge has 2 versions, a level whole life final expense. It's like table 12. And then if you can't get approved to vol, if you had HIV, if you had cancer, right, then there's a guaranteed issue, which is usually at 2 or 3 years, they won't pay a death benefit, but they'll pay you 10% of your money. So we're going to talk about those. That's an excellent question. We're going to cover that in the last webinar, which is next week.
Great. Thank you so much. Because,
You're welcome.
a lot of people are on that new blood thinner cocktail, with
exactly.
the Eliquis and the Metoprolol and all that kind of stuff. And that's knockouts for a lot of people, even though they're doing very well.
Yep.
And they can live a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And then the funny thing is they're starting to come around, like metformin is actually starting to seem as a life extending drug, like people taking it even when they don't have the necessary need. But we'll talk about that next week. Excellent question. Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
And then Tracy says there's still black boxes. Why, Wanda, why is it only on this presentation? What is going on with this? Where are the black boxes?
Well,
Michael?
I can help you cheat here with this a little bit.
Please do.
If you X out, do you have a gray box right there?
How about that?
Yeah, okay, so that'll work. And then there's the one at the top. I think we sort of did this last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can hide floating controls, I think is what it's called.
Yep, I did.
Yep.
Now can you see everything?
Okay. So now, yeah, there's just that one on the screen, which is super tiny, so it's not blocking anything.
All right, we'll put it way up here.
Cool beans.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
Any other questions?
Just glad that we're able to get that the site to take that course and get the book. I couldn't get into it last week. So thank you for somebody for checking on that.
Yeah, it is definitely working out. If you have any issues, just let us know. Okay, Michael, shall I go ahead and get started with this week's presentation? It's much shorter, but very powerful.
Rock and roll. Let's do it.
Okay, everyone. Thank you again to everyone here at Global, to Tony, to Michael, to all the agents. Very interactive. I love working with you. I love presenting with you all. I look forward to working with you all, throughout the next year and the following year, especially when we get out of annual enrollment. I want to set you up. Okay, so I'm a sequential person. I'm a terrible multitasker. I can't do 16 things at once, but I'm a hard worker and I'm a good scheduler, right? So you have to analyze who you are. You have to analyze what you're selling. Are you legally allowed to sell something in the same meeting or not? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture data points that then in the off season, right, Michael, when we get into Q1 of next year, you start getting those commissions feeling good. Hey, let's keep the pedal on the metal and use the system that Global has set up to double your income. And we're going to do that by using the confidential need analysis. It's merely a fact finder, but we call it the CNA or confidential needs analysis because we want clients to know what this is confidential and psychologically it's an analysis of what you need. So I'm going to go through that right now and then we'll ask some questions at the end. I'm going to skip this. You all have been on the webinars. You know who I am, what I do, currently serving as the Chief Sales Officer. I will say this once again, and I always suggest if you're presenting something to your clients, just make it casual, but don't make it not important, right? So if I was speaking to you, Michael, if I was giving you a presentation and say, hey, Michael, important notice. I know this could be gratuitous, but just listen to me for a second. Myself, Global Marketing Partners, Integrity Marketing Group, which is part of the nationwide affiliate that owns us, and all of its affiliates do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been prepared for informational purposes, Michael, okay? We're just trying to educate you a little bit, give you some ideas. It's not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, or accounting advice. Always consult your own tax and legal accounting advisor before making any transactions. Fair enough? So that's how I would say it to a client. I take this seriously, and they should too, and it is an important notice to show that as a disclaimer. So here we are. We have the LARC, the Life Annuity Resource Center, and Wanda did a great job showing you how this works. I'm going to dissect a specific part of this, arguably the most important part, right? My ego wants me to say that the most important part is the annuity badge because you get to watch me do, 88 minutes of videos with some Q&A, and it is helpful. But if you want to truly sell and monetize the clients you're already sitting down with, this is what you're going to master, and it's easy. Okay. You're going to click on the download financial inventory. It's also called a fact finder. It's also called the confidential needs analysis. I like that. Say smart things. People will think you're smart, right? So we click on that and you're going to see the CNA. Now here's a couple things that are pretty cool about it. Michael, did you know that you can actually just type directly in? We have it as an interactive Adobe document. So you can type it digitally directly in and then print it out or save it. Or you can print it out and hand do it. And what's funny is I still have my hand notes. I'm kind of old school like that. Whatever you're comfortable with, this is going to guide you through everything. And I'm going to walk you through basically the 4 elements and show you why we're asking them, what information we're grabbing, and then how we take those combinations and create sales opportunities. So this is kind of a longer looking version because it's about a tabloid size piece. If you print it out on tabloid, great, you have the whole thing. If not, you can do it front and back or 2 pages. But that is way better than, Wanda, have you ever seen, Michael, have you ever seen those fact finders that are like 17 pages long?
Yeah.
Come on. The client's going to be exhausted. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be late for your next appointment. They're going to be information they just don't want to give or they can't find out. And it really starts to deteriorate. Right? I know that sometimes when I present, I need to just stop talking and move forward, or I'm going to lose people, right? It's the same thing here. So this is a very smartly built, this is 21 years of me doing this into a compressed, compact, powerful, confidential needs analysis. So let's start with this. At the very top, this is the basic information. Okay, this is where we're going to gather everything we need. And if we were going to present something that is a life insurance policy or an annuity policy, all the information we need is right here. Their age, their date of birth. Do they have a spouse? Do they have children? Now, I want to point something out. You're going to require their social security number at some point, their driver's license at some point. When you go, I'm going to back up real quick to the Ask a Specialist. It is very intentional. It doesn't ask for social security. It doesn't ask for driver's license. We don't want confidential information shared. We just want concept information shared. But you're capturing this stuff right here. All of it is extremely valuable. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Wanda, if I'm sitting down with you and your husband, you all are turning 65 and we're going to be prepared to set up a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage plan, I'm licensed to do that. That's the reason I called or set you up a Zoom call or came into your home. And so when I start asking for your medications, your height, weight, everything like that, you're going to give them to me. And those are very personal questions, but they know that's what you're supposed to be asking. And it's very valuable because it also is what we would need, or elements of it is what we would need for the annuity or for the life insurance. Now, here's the second part here, okay? Here's where we discover one of the most powerful and usually rhetorical questions on the confidential needs analysis. We're talking about extended care. So it literally asks you, all right, do you have a long-term care insurance policy? Remember the statistics? 65% of people, 70% of people who are 65 or older will need some form of long-term care. Men for 2.2 years, women for 3-point-something years, right? Yet 5% or less actually own one. So when I say it's rhetorical, the vast majority, when I say, and I'm very, very specific, do you own a long-term care insurance policy, an actual long-term care insurance policy? 95% of the time, they're going to say no. Okay. If they say yes, fantastic. If they say no, then they're going to be in the norm, right? And so we also ask, what are some of your concerns, right? So you see how I blow this up here? So if they have one, then we're going to write everything down. But most of the time, it's going to be a checkbox of no. Then I'm going to come down to the bottom of that. I'm going to say, hey, Wanda, let me ask you this real quick. Most people have 4 concerns, right? There's been some studies done, some polling, and most people have 4 concerns regarding long-term care. That is remaining independent, okay? Having choices, right? Being able to make your own choices, which I guess is kind of like being independent, protecting your assets, right? Not just having everything liquidated in the Medicare spend down or having all that money and having to sell your house and pass nothing on to the loved ones. And then a lot of people want to be staying at home. So can you give me an idea of which of these 4 or what else it might be a concern for you? So Michael, does that make sense? How if most people say no, we're going to go right down to this question and bring it front of mind. That's called making it visceral. They start feeling it. I'm 48 years old. I'm in pretty good shape. I'm not too concerned. But you know what I am concerned? You know what actually wakes me up at night? This is no joke. Thinking about my mom. She's completely dependent on me. She's 82 years old now. And I'm just like, all right, what are we going to do? I own her house, but like, am I going to sell it? I have a life insurance policy on it. You see what I'm saying? I actually have the ability to protect some assets and put this forward. And it is a stressful thing. And many of you have gone through that with your parents or with loved ones. You need to be visceral. You need to evoke that because most people are going to say no. All right. So the next part is this. This is where we get the golden question. This is the magic question. We added this section because it never made sense for us to shift, right? We're talking about medical expenses. We're talking about prescriptions. We're talking about driver's license, height, weight, everything. And they're answering them. And then, like I taught you, we shift to, hey, do you have a 401k? So wait, what the hell are you asking me that for? I thought you were a Medicare agent. I thought you were a life insurance agent. Why are you asking about a 401k? So we don't do it that way. We ask the golden question. So look at this blown up here, right? The very first thing we do is, hey, I need to get an understanding because there are life insurance policies and annuities and certain financial assets that can help offset certain things or create lifetime income. So let me get a full idea of what you've got so we know what we would qualify for. right? It's those lead-in questions that are very important. So I'm going to ask you this. Hey, Wanda, do you have any personal life insurance? Now, notice I say personal because, Wanda, life insurance through a company it's not portable. Like when you need it after you retire, it's not going to be there in most cases. So do you have any life insurance that you actually own on you or your husband? It's a yes or no question. And we write down the amount of coverage. We write down the type of insurance. Is it term or whole life? And remember, there's increasing term, declining term, whole life, there's level whole life, there's IULs, there's VULs, there's ULs, there's paid up additions. It's all either whole life or term policy. So take a guess and ask them what the monthly premium is. How much are you paying for that? Okay. Now we ask the golden question. Beautiful question. Developed it over 20 years. It works like magic because I'm confident in asking it. Wanda's confident answering it. Doesn't bother her. And we're not asking securities questions. So Wanda, let me ask you this. Do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Meaning, are you self-insured? And see, I just read the stuff at the bottom. Do you have a 401k, an IRA, a Roth, a CD, an annuity, a brokerage account, something that's going to go probate free over to your loved ones when you die? That's the golden question. Why? Because if they say yes, I put down how much and I check the box and move on. If they say no, no problem. Have some empathy. Oh no, yeah, it's a very common thing, right? There's no more pensions, defined contribution plans are hardly doing any matches anymore. We're changing jobs. I totally get it. But it's a golden question because it's yes or no. And it unlocks what assets are available to better protect and prepare them for retirement. Okay, now finally we get to this, the retirement income. We're going to ask them, okay, so in order to see what you would qualify for, and you see how I use that as kind of a preamble, Michael? I say that a lot. All right, the last thing I need to do to see what you might qualify for, because why am I asking about retirement income? It matters. It matters for what they might qualify for. But all of this stuff makes sense, and I'm comfortable asking it, and they're just going to start spitting out the answers. So I'm going to ask them right here. I'm going to say, hey, what I need you to do is I need you to list all monthly income for you and your spouse, if applicable, right? If they have a spouse. So are either of you still working and plan on still working? If so, what's your monthly income for you, for your spouse? Great. Write it down. Type it in. Social Security. Have you collected Social Security yet? When do you plan on taking Social Security? Right? In my book, I have a great section on Social Security that you should read. And it shows you tools that if they're not sure, believe it or not, because they stopped mailing them out until you're 60 again, right? So most people should have a statement, but you can show them how to go online and create their statement, right? Very helpful. You're guiding them, lead, guide, and direct. But what's your Social Security? What's your spouse's Social Security? So important, so important. And then are either of you collecting a pension? And then do you see that little box there, Michael, where it says transfers, question mark? What we're asking is, does that pension transfer when you die? Some of them don't. Some of them transfer at 50%. Some of them transfer with everything. There are so few pensions. I shouldn't say so few, but they're becoming less and less likely. Then let me ask you this, Wanda, who do you consult when making your financial decisions? This is very valuable information because they're going to tell you, you know how many times I've sat at home and they're like, I don't know. It was someone that worked with us at Prudential. And when I converted my 401k, they set it up. I don't like, they're literally looking through paperwork or they call and that person is no longer there. That is a good thing, not for them necessarily, but it's a good thing because they have no loyalty to anyone. Contrary to that, they might have someone who they say, oh, it's Becky, and Becky's awesome. Okay, got it. See, we need to know what we're dealing with because we need to get Becky to buy in too. Again, don't get too attached. Don't chase this down. You're going to give the best thing that you find as a solution. And guess what? Becky probably doesn't sell long-term care insurance. Becky probably doesn't know that Global Atlantic is a product that can offer true long-term care coverage. Becky probably doesn't know about living benefits and how Mutual of Omaha's IUL Express can help your clients stay in their home or can help offset the loss of lead Social Security income, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then agent's notes. Put everything in there, right? Hey, it transfers, but this, when they talked about their advisor, they did not seem very attached or they were upset. Does that make sense? So put as many notes as you can into those agent's notes. Now, there are numerous sales opportunities that we've just created. I'm going to give you some of them, and then we're going to open up. What if they answered no to the long-term care question? right? You see what I'm saying, right? Do you have any long-term care coverage? Yes or no? They answered no. All right. No, I don't. And when I asked them the golden question, okay, do you have anything that acts like life insurance? They said no. See how this is like a little matrix? Well, if they said no to this, no to this, you just uncovered an IUL or a whole life policy with living benefits. Boom. You just covered that. That's what you're going to submit to the Ask Specialist. What if they answered no to the long-term care, which is going to be your most common, but they answered yes. Yes, I do have something that acts like life insurance. I have an IRA. It's got $212,000. It's got $86,000. Great. They're self-insured. Now we just opened up a long-term care annuity like Equitrust has or like Global Atlantic. And Mike, what we're going to do is before, open enrollment just really starts, we're going to have the carriers come in and present some of these products. So now that kind of completes it. Okay. And you get an idea of what you're doing, but you never have to stress because all you do is submit it to the Ask a Specialist and they'll show you the product. They'll make sure that you're contracted. They'll give you the illustrations. They'll walk you through and give you a narration on how to do it. It's going to be incredibly powerful. What about number 3? What if they answer yes to life insurance? Just straight up. Hey, do you have any life insurance? Not something your company owns, but something you actually own. And Wanda says, yeah, I do. Is it term or is it whole life? She goes, it's a whole life policy. Great. What we did is we opened up 2 things. The opportunity for a life insurance review. Maybe it's a term policy, it's going to expire. Maybe it's got an increasing premium. I've seen that before. Or it has some whole life that we can potentially do what's called a 1035 exchange. You notice I have purple and blue because you can take a life insurance policy and do a 1035 exchange to another life insurance policy or a 1035 exchange to annuity. You cannot take an annuity and 1035 exchange it to a life insurance policy. This is just one example. If they answered a simple yes to life insurance, you opened up another possible sale. How about if they answered no to life insurance? No, I don't have any life insurance. And no, I don't have anything that will pass on to my loved ones. I'm not self-insured. You know how many of those you're going to get? A ton. And I can't remember, it wasn't Pam. Someone asked, well, what if they're not healthy enough? Hey, I'm putting IUL here, but this could easily be a final expense. And we don't call it final expense to clients. We call it level whole life. Level whole life, right? It's all relative to their health, to their income. But you just unlocked an IUL. Because remember, the golden question is yes or no. If they say no, I don't have anything that acts like life insurance, then you're going to segue by saying, hey, Wanda, have you ever considered an IUL to supplement your retirement? And we're off and running again, just like we've been teaching. And I'm almost done, y'all. I know it's getting gratuitous, but what if they answered no to life insurance, but yes to being self-insured? Well, it's the opposite. The golden question uncovered that they do have something. And I'm going to ask the opposite segue question. Hey, Michael, what are you doing to protect that money? Well, what do you mean, Sean? Well, we use something called a fixed index annuity or an FIA. It's not your granddad's annuity. There's 3 things that it does better than any other product. It protects your premium. You'll never lose money in the market. It has high participation rates. So it actually participates in the gains. It doesn't beat the market, but if the market goes up 20%, you gain 12, what kind of CD, what kind of money market account gains 12%? And it never loses money in the market. And then finally, it is an annuity. So it can generate lifetime income, however you want it for you, your spouse, for your kids, right? You remember me saying that? Memorize that slide. You just unlocked an FIA opportunity. What about this? Well, let's get even more simple. What if they're married? We find out in the first section, do you have a spouse? They're married. How often can we predict that both spouses will die at the exact same time, at the exact same age? It doesn't happen, right? So now we can look at it and we can say, before I leave here today, or you can call them up in February. Hey, Wanda, good to see you again. You know, I noticed something, Wanda. One of the services that we're offering is we're trying to be more thorough in helping our clients prepare for retirement and have a well-prepared retirement if you're in retirement. But I noticed that your wife is 6 years younger and in much better health. And when you die, she's going to lose her Social Security, which is $600 a month. We have a really great product that for pennies on the dollar, you can go ahead and replace 10 years of her income tax-free. And anything that she doesn't spend will then go on to your children, right? Powerful, right? Powerful. What if they have kids? You might want to pass something on tax-free as a gift. There's an IUL. What if they have kids and you want to pass on lifetime income. Did you know you can set up annuity and have it you can pay them from the grave? I've helped clients pay kids on their birthdays from the grave. They're still getting a check from grandpa or great grandpa. This is just some of the samples. And you don't need to worry about it, because what you do is you take that financial inventory, you take that confidential needs analysis, and you literally just start typing it in here securely and encrypted, and you send it off. And now they're going to see the back office that Global and brokers have set up is going to see those combinations. They're going to say, oh, we noticed that they said yes to this and no to this. We noticed that the spouse is this much younger. We noticed that they're going to lose the pension because it doesn't transfer. Do you see how powerful that is? Now you have a life insurance sale. Now you have an annuity sale. You might even have both. That's how powerful it is. So double your income steps, right? That's our goal. Download the confidential needs analysis. Ask the golden question and be thorough every single time. It's only a page, right? That's the beauty of it. Submit all your scenarios to the Life and Annuity Resource Center, the Ask a Specialist, and your goal is to write at least one annuity per quarter and one IUL per month. Michael, hopefully I didn't take too long. Any questions?
Yes, sorry. I have 100 of them, but I'll only give you one or two.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Let's go back to that form that we're filling out, which is the financial needs analysis form, okay?
Yep.
And I think that I understand that you just said that when we fill this out, we're going to send it to the back office. Is that what you said? And they're going to help us choose what the appropriate product is. Did I understand that, or is that wrong?
Yes. Yeah, no, you did. Now here, let me get real finite with
We
it.
whipped through that and I want to make sure I understood that. Okay.
So did you see where I downloaded it? Here's
Yes.
here's your LARC. You click download.
I already printed it. Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm a print and or you can type, right?
Oh, okay.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yes,
boom,
yes,
all this
okay,
stuff, right?
okay.
Okay.
It's all
right,
fillable.
check.
Right.
Fillable, yes. Or you're like me, because I'm old and a dinosaur. I still write stuff out. But you know what? I actually might type it. It's just so convenient. Now, here's what you can do with that. Okay, so you see this form right here, okay?
Right.
What materials you use, what date you used, right? Have them sign on it, I think is a good idea. And obviously that would require it's printed. So maybe type this, print it. You figure that out. We're all smart. We're all independent with that.
All right.
But
Hold
now-
on. So
Yeah.
you're saying once I fill this form out, we should have the client sign off on it?
I do,
And you do that, why?
because I have done so much of this. Every once in a while, you have someone that said, oh, I didn't say that, right? I've had people that literally give me coffee. I'm petting their dog. Here's some cookies. They run into financial difficulties. Their prodigal son returns and says, oh, you should have bought this. You should not have done that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we
Right,
still,
yes.
we are protecting our professional needs first. It's not a requirement. And Michael, I don't want to get too far into what you all suggest legally. For me personally, I would have them initial or sign stuff personally.
Okay.
You don't-
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
have
with
to.
you. I just want to make
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. So now let's go back. There's two things you can do. You could, let's say it's a life. You could just take it and you're looking at it. So that confidential needs analysis is kind of for your records. I want you to just type it in, right? And now there's a reason. Why do we not just make every field from that port over and automatically submit? Because we do not want the sensitive information. Do you notice how we're not asking for driver's license? Do you notice how we're not asking for social security number? We do have it encrypted, but we just don't want that. Okay. So retype, it'll take you just a moment, right? It gives you a time to maybe just regather your thoughts, put it in correctly. If you want to, you can take the file and upload it right here. Do you see what I'm saying? And
Right.
now you are sending it. It is still encrypted. You check this box. It says the client, I realized, and just read this right here. I'm going to read it out loud. This is kind of silly, but listen. My client has authorized me to share their private information, including but not limited to their date of birth, personal account information, and account statement to the Integrity Marketing Group LLC and insurance carriers, because they might have to look at it, only as deemed necessary. This information will be solely used for the purpose of advising on the product for the client and will not be sold or shared with any third parties for the use of leads or other marketing purposes. So
Okay.
we are literally just saying, hey, you please take a look at this confidentially, and you hit submit.
Are
Okay,
you
so I
sitting,
gave
are
you a
you filling
couple
this
of-
out? Wait, hold on. Are you filling this out in front of the client or when you're
No,
on that other
excellent
form?
question.
Okay.
This is filled out in front of the client. This is your morning coffee stuff,
Right.
or your nighttime admin time, or your Saturday. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so when you're filling out that other form, it is best practice to say to the client, you know, we're going to be submitting some of this information to the home office. And they're going to be sharing it, or I'm going to be sharing it. So I need you to sign off on it as your permission to let me share it.
And that's what I tell them. I say, listen, we have a
Yep.
back office that
Got it.
helps me find the best products. There are so many out there. And so I just need you, if you would just initial this or verbally understand that we do not sell information. We do not sell it to marketing lists, but there's a back office that runs it through software and tries to find the best premiums. And that's
Right.
true just for your Medicare stuff, right? You're
Right.
technically taking something and putting it to a third-party software oftentimes, whether it's the carrier software or a middleman, a TPA that does that, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank
Okay.
you. very much.
And then they come back and you go and it's a system and you see how like you just generated like, I don't think there's a single person I can sit down with that I can't make a compelling reason why they shouldn't buy. A compelling reason why they shouldn't buy a life or insurance policy or annuity. And you'll get good at it. And the back office that Global has set up in partnership with BI, you don't really have to do the work. You just kind of learn as you go. And you just ask questions, submit, and you're a machine. And you're making suggestions. They say yes or they say no. No problem. Move on to the next one. Because you meet with plenty of people, you have that data and you have their trust. So I'll get off my soapbox again. But yeah,
understand.
excellent questions.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any others?
Good morning. Yes, will you show the slide before your last slide to ask questions, please? And
Yes,
thank
I'd
you
be
for the
happy to
book.
do that. I'd be happy to do that. Let me bring that back up. Okay. Here we go. Right here, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So double your income steps. You want me to just show you or do you want me to narrate this for
Oh,
you?
you just show it. Thank you.
You're
Well, you
welcome.
go on and narrate if you like.
Yeah. So download that confidential needs analysis. And you want to hear something hilarious and like not hilarious? I never read, it was a Transamerica final expense app. It was a very solid product, right? Well priced. And again, I'm ancient. So like this is like 20 something years ago. I went and presented it and the client's like, yeah, I'll take it. I never read the app. And I was not a doctor. I was not a nurse. I was not a pharmacist. So I'm like, do you have any arrhythmia? Like, I mean, I was sweating. Like, I was like, holy crap, I probably should have read this app because I don't even know what these questions are. Have you all ever experienced that? Like, you got a new app and you don't even know what the questions are. And so then I learned I will never have that happen again. I'm gonna read through my app. I'm gonna fill one out myself, test it, make sure I'm Googling words that if I don't know what they are, now I know. I just invested 16 minutes and now I'm an expert on that app. I feel comfortable. It's the same thing with this. Go through those questions one time, print it out and ask yourself, ask your spouse, test it out. I mean, you can shred it, burn it, whatever. You don't need to submit anywhere, but that's what I'd recommend. So you download that confidential needs analysis and now you're confident. Now you have to have the discipline and the selflessness to ask it every time, no matter what. I think I've shared this with you before, but Michael, I grew up with a single mom in the city. I was probably more apt, I mean, like dealing with women, I was very comfortable. Dealing with some of the people in the inner city, I was very comfortable, right? You know who got to me? The cantankerous old man, the 60, 70-year-old codger who, when I came in, they're like, what's the price? You know, I was terrible with some of them. It's $150. No, I don't want it. Okay, thank you, bye, right? I did a terrible job. I was being selfish. He's defensive because he's scared. He's acting like that because the best defense is a good offense. He's been hurt. He doesn't trust people. So you know what you do is you put your feelings aside and you ask them, Mr. Smith, I understand you want the price, but there's a process to this. I'm a professional. So respectfully, this is going to take about 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And then if I haven't answered everything you need, including the price, then, we can part ways. But I'm going to ask you to please let me take control of the situation. Now, wow, that takes some cojones, right? And however that is for you, ask it every time because he needs it. It's not about you. It's about him. It's about her. It's about your family, right? You might have just passed on someone that was going to do a $300,000 annuity, but no one ever had the guts to really talk to that person and ask that person. There's usually a reason why people are that way. So have the guts to do it. Ask the golden question every time. Submit your scenarios to the LARC in a timely manner. Use that stuff. Don't try to guess and start to overthink it. You're going to learn over time. So every night or every morning, I get up real early. I get my coffee and I start doing some of my administrative stuff. So submit that LARC over. And then if you do those three things, you're going to write at least one annuity per quarter and at least one IUL per month.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got about 5 more minutes. Anything else?
Yes, I'm sorry. So I probably missed some of this, but as far as contracting, Michael, maybe you have to answer that question. How do we get contracted with some of these companies that we're working with?
Same way as everywhere else.
Same as we always do it, right? Okay.
Never
All
changes.
right. And where's the list? Same place?
List of what?
I'm sorry?
You said the list of what?
Of the companies that we work through with this?
On Insurance Bay. They're all on there.
Okay, it's on Insurance Bay. Okay, thanks.
And Sean, didn't you say that a lot of the contract is just in time because the
Exactly.
best
Thank you,
product may be
Jessica.
okay.
Yeah. So Chris, one of the things that they're going to do, the back end team with Global and BI, is when you submit a scenario, they're going to check to see if you're contracted. And many or most of the carriers, and Michael, I'm talking from the annuity and life insurance side. And Medicare, I have no idea how that works. It's very confusing. They will be able to check. Then you can submit your app with your contracting. And so that way you don't have to worry too much. But there's some core carriers, Mutual of Omaha, Fidelity and Guarantee, Athene, right? Like that you want to get on. And I'm starting to get into a world that was always wizardry. I had really good people who took care of contracting. So Wanda, you probably tell me to shut up and on that. And if there's any other questions on that or details, you can answer it or Michael can answer it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. How about one more question? And then I'm going to sign off, Michael. I'm going to run to, I'm in the Iowa office today, so I'm going to head into this meeting.
I have one about the contracting. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
When you're doing the, now when the back office is doing the analysis, the process that it takes them to get that done, does that work at the same amount of time that you need to get the license done so you can actually be credited for it, or just how does that work?
Wanda?
Yeah. So when you submit a request for a case design, our team, like Sean said, will check to see if you're appointed with that carrier when they're providing those solutions. Generally, when you submit your appointment paperwork, you're looking at about, on average, a 2-week turnaround time for most carriers to get appointed. But many of the carriers, depending upon the state that you're in, will allow you to go ahead and submit the business while your appointment's being processed.
Okay.
So if you aren't already appointed for that carrier, you can complete the SureLC link, and our team can send that to you as well. As Michael said, the carriers that they're appointed with will be on there. And then you can submit that. And I think there's a handful of states like Pennsylvania, sometimes Connecticut. There's a handful of states where you have to be appointed before you can submit business. But
Right.
many of our carriers will allow you to go ahead and submit the business and the contracting together. So if you aren't appointed and you want to go ahead and write the business, often you can go ahead and do that while your contract's being processed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And June and everyone, let me explain one last thing and then I'm got to sign off. Use the Costco analogy, right? Don't overpromise, Michael, because you're going to get your feedback quick. So you always set that appointment 1 week later, if you can, right? Now I sit down with them and I show them this Athene product. It is phenomenal. It is awesome. It is, oh my goodness, this is great. And I won't lose money and this grows tax deferred, whatever. tell them, say, if they're saying, yes, I'm ready to go, say, okay, have you ever been to Costco? Oh, I'll give you, 2 minutes. Have you ever been to Costco and you're getting the best deals and quality food, but you know you're going to be in there for a while and you're all going to stand in line for a while? It's the same thing with this. You're not the only one that loves this product. This product is hot. So there's a lot of people right now under today's financial environment and uncertainty that are applying for this. So expect this to take a little bit of time. I'll go as fast as I can, but expect to take a little bit of time. Does that make sense, June? So you set their expectations correctly because they might think, oh my gosh, why isn't it done? It's been 3 days. You want to give that Costco analogy. Does that help?
That was my thought process. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, Michael, I've got to sign off. We've got one more. So any questions that carry over, make a documentation of them and I'll get them next week. Okay.
Fantastic. This is excellent stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us, Sean. I appreciate everybody jumping on. I've got this recording today and the one next week. If you guys do have questions, just write them down. We'll address it on next Tuesday, or we could also address it tomorrow on the mastermind session. I am putting together a platform, like a 1-page that has all these videos, all these recordings and presentations and stuff for you guys to address at some future point. But until then, I hope to see you guys on the mastermind tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Thanks so much.
Love it. Thank you, everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you, everyone.